Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Gadget Show. My name is Usman and we will be going through all the way till 9 o'clock with a fantastic edition with so much things we couldn't even fit it into our normal program. This is part 1 of 3 because we're doing the build up to, the holiday season, whether it's Christmas, whether it's New Year's, whether it's whatever you're celebrating. There's lots of gifts out there. Which is the gift for you? And who is going to help us out? We're our resident gadget expert. That's who. Let's say hello to Raman.
Hi Usman, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Looking forward.
And we see this vast array of gifts which are potentially there to buy for a lot of people out there. Holiday season coming up, Christmas, New Year's, etc. And you're going to be telling us a bit about some of these.
Absolutely. I've been shopping.
You have been shopping. You have done very well.
I've been shopping, I've been traveling, and obviously getting a lot of fantastic response from loads of companies, obviously, who have given us the best gadgets to feature on the show. So hopefully our guests and obviously our viewers will like it.
Fantastic. So obviously we start the show before we get onto any specific product review. We start off with news. Whatever's been happening in the news, and it's been interesting this week.
Yes, it has been. Obviously, a couple of things which are happening. One is the Apple, Google, and Samsung rivalry.
Yes.
And we heard last week that Apple 4S, the new iPhone 4S, had a few glitches in the battery. And this week it's the turn of the Samsung Nexus phone, which is obviously had glitches with the battery. They've also introduced the new version of the Android, which is the Ice Cream Sandwich, as it is called. And obviously, both companies acknowledging, yes, there are problems with the battery as well as the volume. Some of the viewers have actually, who bought the phones, it's gone in sale for sale in the UK. And people who bought it basically say the volume actually suddenly drops down, or you lose the volume function altogether. So that's making a bit of a news in the market, keeping in mind that currently there's a smartphone war which is happening between 3 different players. So you have Samsung, the Apple, obviously the iPhone, and also the likes of Nokia. We are trying to gain ground with the launch of new Lumia series. So it's an interesting thing which is out there, and it's great to read some of the forums and comments to see what viewers of each companies, and obviously what are the official comments coming in. But all in all, they've acknowledged the problem and they're working on a fix for that. Usually,
obviously, going back 5, 6, 7 years, this kind of thing would not be making the news at all.
No.
But because, like you said, the rivalry is so intense,
yes.
It's sort of, oh, they've got a problem, let's kind of, show them up kind of thing.
Absolutely. And that is where it is coming in, because last quarter, when the numbers came out, Apple, which was kind of ruling the roost in terms of the launch. When they launch a new phone, they sell record numbers. Obviously, Samsung in the last quarter has taken this a step further. And in the smartphone wars, what has happened is they've gone into the first position with, and I think if I remember correctly, they've sold about 27 million odd smartphones in the market. And Apple's a good second, quite a far place, quite a number of paces far behind. And they've sold about 17 million. And then you have a lot of others like HTC and a couple of these. But China remains to be the largest market, and the battle is intensely hotting up. So obviously US, emerging markets, China, and it's all a game wherein everybody is looking at selling and getting the best products out there in the holiday season, because they know this is the biggest season for purchases, or when consumers end up buying gifts and things like that.
Fantastic. So anything else which has been making the news?
Yes, there are loads of things. If we come back home, obviously we are looking at the testing of 4G, which is slated for launch in the UK, and obviously O2 and a couple of other operators have started testing that in the UK market, which will boast of good connection speeds, specifically when you look at video on your phone, and you look at services which have rich graphics. I think you're looking at speeds which are, it's the next generation technology which is called 4G, and I think that is going to be making some.
Just for those that don't know, Jinko nahi pata, the 4G technology at the moment we're currently running on 3G, which is the speed of internet or data which is available to you on your handset. As you know, all the new phones that are coming out have got 3G, which is quite fast. Which is what speed are we looking at for 3G?
I think we're looking at, depending on the signal strength, you get anywhere between 2 to 3 gigabytes.
2 to 3 gigabytes.
1.5 to 2 to 2.5 gigabytes.
So around about that mark, or what they're bringing out now is obviously new technology. You need a specific license for 4G, which is the testing phase which is going on at the moment. And then what will happen is obviously your internet speed on your phone will be up to
40. Up to 40. And there was a good comparison done when they did this pilot test. And obviously, if you download a movie, which is, say, for example, about 80, a video, for example, about 80 megabytes, that downloads in about 10 seconds on a 4G connection as against a minute on a 3G. So obviously, there are tests which are happening currently, but this is going to be the fastest, connectivity available to mobile phone users. Pretty much the next computer in your hand. So obviously that's where the race is as of now.
So we're looking at full songs in seconds, literally 1 or 2 seconds.
Absolutely,
you can download a full song. You can probably get an album in less than 10 seconds.
Yes.
So the technology, is going very, very far. It does require a license. Are we looking at 2012?
I think the initial
13?
estimates which have come in, wherein the UK government is now auctioning the spectrum, and obviously the initial rollouts would begin in 2013 onwards. So all in all, something quite exciting.
Something quite exciting for the smartphone
users,
person, which is obviously you.
1 in 4 users in the UK have smartphones.
Yes.
So obviously when you look at that and the kind of transactions which are being done on smartphones, so you can literally go on eBay, you can literally buy things, you can reserve a place or do a booking in a restaurant. So most of these things are now possible because of location services, mapping services, and things like that, which is driving the need for greater speeds and connectivity on the smartphone. So yeah, definitely.
So fantastic. You're also talking earlier about broadband speeds, which are being tested.
Yes.
So at the moment, currently, we're running on?
Well, there are a couple of brands which are offering speeds up to about, I would say, 50 gigabytes, which is what the claims are. But there are, services available from Virgin. There are services available from BT, which is called I think they call it the Infinity Broadband, which is what they claim is the fastest broadband available. But again, it depends on what line is coming to your house, because most of the last mile connectivity in users' home is copper. And that is where the signal actually drops, so the speed drops. But if you are in an area wherein it's cable and it's fiber, obviously you will get great speeds. So current speeds are up to about, I would say, 50 gigabytes, which are practically available, and not offices, but for home users.
For home use as well, wow. So no longer the days of the 56K dial-up.
Well, I would say that, there are currently, there is a technology currently being tested in Sweden by TeliaSonera, and obviously some of the other companies involved who are now testing speeds of up to 120 gigabyte for home broadband. And this is not something which is far off. We are looking at a couple of months and probably at max maybe a year or two. And obviously the UK government has announced plans to, in terms of both investment as well as plans to boost the connectivity to 80% of the homes within the UK to about 100 gigabytes per second by 2020. So, it'll happen in our lifetime. Let me put it this way.
It will happen.
We will be able to watch TV. We will be able to play online, not just on one, but a multiple number of PCs running in one home, and practically, 20, 25 devices in your home, having internet connectivity and interacting and, basically sharing information.
Wow.
So this will happen.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Moving on, I think the other piece of news, which is obviously this is a year wherein a time frame in the year wherein a lot of product launches happen, and we've had a couple of product launches in terms of for camera enthusiasts, people who are digital SLR enthusiasts. Fuji has launched a new SLR which is going to be available soon, and that camera is basically, there are a lot of cameras available, but obviously they've made a new introduction in the market, which is primarily going to be having higher megapixels, will allow HD video recording, and obviously will allow both instant connectivity, something which has become predominantly common in most cameras called photo tagging or geotagging.
Geotagging.
So that is something which is a technology which is now becoming affordable. It is being made available in cameras, and it's becoming affordable. So this one I think is priced at about £699, and will boast of a couple of these features, and I think it's slated to be introduced in the UK market sometime in December.
Wow. I know a lot of people do prefer, cameras and things as a main gift.
Absolutely,
whether it's Christmas or, for a, significant birthday. Something that I'd like if anyone,
Well,
anyway.
some of the things like, for example, people are looking at zoom today,
Yeah.
So when you look at digital zoom and analog zoom, most of the SLRs will today boast of about 10, 15, 16. This is a 26x zoom, so which is fantastic for, people who love photography, want to go out, get out there and obviously, get great snaps and, from a distance. That is where, this probably will be one of the first, in cameras, digital SLRs available with that kind of a zoom.
Wow.
I think one of the other interesting things we will show on the screen is a modular drive that we have. We use a lot of USB drives to store data.
Yep.
And when you look at that, what is happening is I think this industry in particular, this segment in particular, has been driven by capacity. So you've looked at pen drive starting with 512 megabyte, gigabyte, now 32, 64, I think even 128 and 256. Yeah. But somebody has come up with a concept wherein you have a lot of drives and you have a lot of data. But how do you store that data sorted in a way that this is your pictures, this is your movies, this is your music? So he's come up with a unique concept called a modular pen drive. And that, if we can show a screenshot of that, which is a modular pen drive on our screen, it's quite funny. It's a big drive like this, and it breaks up into a couple of parts. Okay. So you can basically, when you're copying photos, there we go, that you see there, and it's called the Amoeba, a drive, wherein you have 4 parts to the drive, and you can sort your data in terms of compartments. Compartment 1 has my documents, number 2 has my pictures, number 3 has my music, number 4 has my movies. So a unique concept, and obviously a segment in which you need innovation now. So this is something that caught our attention. And obviously, those of us who have a lot of drives, I think the next time you go out and shop, probably one of the options that you could look at would be a modular pen drive.
Yeah, so rather than having to sort them manually, that's actually a very, very good idea, actually.
Absolutely,
I like that one.
Yeah. I think one of the other things, when you look at the music industry in general, there's a lot of piracy around. And there are a couple of services available in the market which basically give you music either on a per pay basis or on a subscription basis. Spotify is one such service.
It's massive now, isn't it?
It is massive now, and what they've announced is obviously they've reached a milestone which is 2.5 million subscribers which are buying or listening to Spotify on a subscription basis. So I think it's a very good milestone for them, and this is something which has also made the news that they started off as a free service, and slowly and gradually the business model has come along, and obviously they've now got 2.5 million subscribers who use this service and pay for it.
So for those of you who are unaware, Spotify is a music on demand service. Whatever song you like, whatever singer you like, you type it in. You can listen to any song without physically owning the song, but you can listen to it at any time, wherever you are, you're out and about. So in sense of, if you're not really bothered about having the hard copy or a CD, but you want to be able to listen to the music you want to listen to when you want to listen to it, this is where Spotify came along. It came along, completely unique service. Now there's a lot of copycat services around.
Absolutely,
but it's a completely unique service when it started off. Music on demand, whenever you want, without actually physically owning it.
Yes. One of the other things which I think the last thing that I want to basically bring across is, if you look at the desktop category, a lot of manufacturers, big names out there like the HPs, the Dells, Lenovos, they have now been struggling to keep up with these, the shipping of notebooks, netbooks and tablets, and which is one category I think they're looking at innovating. So we've got a very interesting screenshot of a Lenovo PC, which you'll see shortly on the screen. Now this is a home theater, and what they're looking at doing is obviously one of the few companies who's looking at innovating design, because the shipments, if you look at major research firms, the shipment of desktops is declining, and the shipment of notebooks is increasing because everybody wants portable devices nowadays, something that you can carry along easily. And this is one particular device which caught our attention because it's in a very different form factor, as you can see. And what they've tried to do is, this is not the first attempt by the company, but obviously a lot of other companies have made that attempt. They're trying to move the PC from your table or from your study to your living room. And obviously this is a home theater PC, which is quite high spec. It comes with dual core processor and obviously lots of storage, 750 gigabyte of storage, and obviously all the devices are wireless, so in the keyboard, the way it interacts, and something again which is quite ergonomic in design. quite good, and obviously I think a lot of other manufacturers need to innovate.
So it
in
kind
this
of
category.
becomes part of your television.
Absolutely, yes.
So, you know, you're watching TV, oh, I want to go on the internet, quickly on the internet, I want to watch a film,
Yes.
put a DVD in, etc. So it's sort of, yeah,
Absolutely.
it integrates into basically.
Home theater
Yeah.
concept, which is, you know, your personal video recorder, home theater, a PC. Most of these are wireless. If you have good storage space, you can, you know, beam your TV onto it.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of other activities which can be done now with the PC, apart from gaming, using it for work and a couple of other things fun-wise. So all in all, something which caught our attention, and I think it's a very unique classical design, where they're trying to innovate the overall concept around desktops. And obviously they are, I think, the world's second or third largest PC maker now. So they've acquired IBM a couple of years back, and the IBM ThinkPad range of laptops. But obviously on the PC side, they are massive, and obviously Lenovo is now trying to, you know, gain market share on that.
Right, so that's a quick roundup of all the news. Like I said at the start of the show, this is a special edition, part 1 of 3. So what we're going to try and do is over the next 3 weeks, we have so many things that we want to show you. We're trying to cram them all in so you can see all a different range of things, you know, that you can buy for holiday season or for yourself or, you know, for anyone else. Got a vast array here, a vast array. But before we move on to that, we've got a review of satellite navigation. Like I said, 10, 15 years ago, you know, it was maps. It was asking a person on the street, excuse me, do you know where this is? And then it was all sort of turn left, turn right, go here, go there, get lost, ask someone else. But obviously everyone knows satellite navigation is now available from, you know, in your car, on your phone, anywhere. You know, a lot of people have it on their phone. Raman's just about to show you the one that he's got on his phone. So, and it is called?
It's called the Copilot Live.
Copilot Live, okay.
Obviously, what we're trying to do is, we've had some comments coming in from our viewers that, you know, today you grapple with the fact that you're at some point in time carrying, you know, when you sit in a car, it's almost becoming difficult for us to go without, you know, if you're going to a particular place, if you've not driven there before, it becomes difficult for you to basically go without satellite or, you know, some sort of a navigation or help. And people today carry lots of gadgets with them. So you're carrying a smartphone, and a smartphone doubles up today as a satellite portable navigation device. And they're called PNDs. So obviously when you look at that, why we picked up this category is a lot of us and a lot of viewers have suggested that, you know, we have smartphones, we've got this app available, but how do we use it? Which one is the best one? And they've been coming to us with these kind of questions. So what we decided to do was obviously do a review of you know, some of the apps which are available on the iOS, the Android. Some of them are paid apps, some of them are free apps. And the idea was to try and pick up something that we found quite interesting. And obviously there are loads of apps there in the market. Satellite navigation started off, you know, if some of you are interested in history, it's global positioning system, and it started off in the US in 1970s or early 80s, wherein they launched a couple of satellites. They're placed in a geostationary orbit, and obviously they try and then, you know, navigate you to the closest point, detecting your latitude, longitude, and your positioning. There are a couple of you know, services out there. I think one of the things which made news in the iPhone 4S before it launched was that GLONASS, which is the Russian satellite navigation system, when the Soviet Union collapsed, it actually kind of went into some sort of a retirement. But now it's fully functional, and they're trying to revive this system as well. So USSR, or the former Soviet Union, is a very large country, and obviously the world's largest country. And obviously they're trying to develop their own satellite navigation. So is China. There is something called the Galileo, which is in the state of some readiness by 2015 in the European Union. And then you have, which is the GPS, which is currently used by 2.2 billion people around the world for satellite navigation, and that's the US-based GPS system.
Fantastic. Well, I think before we let you carry on with that, we've got a caller.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to take a quick call. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Kuram.
Hi, Kuram.
Yeah, I want to know about what one would you prefer, an iPhone 4 or an iPhone 4S?
Okay.
Depending on the apps and like what it has.
No problem. Where are you calling from, Kuram?
London.
London. Whereabouts in London?
Walthamstow.
Walthamstow. Okay. Is that someone giving you a choice that you can have one of those phones?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? No problem. Thank you for your call. Keep listening to the show. Keep watching the show. We're going to tell you in a little while. As far as I know, I'll give him a brief what I think, and then you can fill in the details there.
Why not? Go ahead.
As far as I'm aware, obviously aesthetically, which means the way the phone looks, both of them are exactly identical. There is no way of identifying one from the other except from the back, and one of them says 4 and one of them says 4S.
4S, yeah.
The iPhone 4S has a better camera. It's got a faster processor. In terms of the apps available, as I'm sure Raman will correct me if I'm wrong here, identical. It runs the same iOS, so the apps available on both are the same. You've got the same amount of free ones, same amount of paid ones. Obviously with the better camera and the faster processor, that's the only difference, and obviously it's got Siri on there as well.
That's correct, voice assistant.
Anything I've missed out, Raman?
I think you've covered pretty much everything. If you look at the iPhone 4S, it's a new successor for the iPhone 4. It's got better on some features because a lot of us today want to do lots of things on the phone. So the iPhone 4S has a faster processor, which means you can run multiple applications. One of the things which Karim asked was, are the apps the same? Which you correctly replied, yes, they are the same because the operating system driving both the phones is the same. Exactly. So the apps available on 4S are the same, or you can access the same apps on the iPhone 4. And obviously, if you're buying something latest,
you're going to pay a premium.
You're going to pay a premium.
That's the only difference.
So depends on what plan. If you're looking at buying,
depends how much your budget is, to be honest, Karim. But obviously, if you're not bothered about the camera, and obviously you're not bothered about the processor, I'll probably go for the cheaper option. We've got another caller. Hello.
Hello, Paji.
Hello. I think this is for you, Raman.
Hello. How are you doing? कैसे हैं आप?
मैं ठीक ठाक पाजी तुसी अपनी गल्ला करी जांदे हो साडी सुनदे ही नहीं ते
सुन ले ना उन
ए पाजी जेड़ा ये फोन साथे लपड़िया वा ये इसना क्या किस तरह बेचने हो तो क्या हिसाब आ
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫੋਨ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਫੋਨ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ
ਇਹ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੱਥੇ ਫੜਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ
ਇਹ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ iPhone 4 ਹੈ ਜੀ
ਆਈਫੋਨ ਇਹ
iPhone 4 ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿਸੇ ਆਪਰੇਟਰ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਮਤਲਬ ਜਾ ਕੇ Apple Store ਤੋਂ ਖਰੀਦ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਤੇ ਅਗਰ ਡਿਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਲਾਨ ਤੇ ਲਵੋਗੇ ਤੇ ਕਿਸ ਆਪਣਾ ਡੇਟਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਤੇ ਲਵੋਗੇ
ਅੱਛਾ
ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਫੋਨ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ $170 ਪਾਉਂਡ ਤੋਂ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ 30 ਪਾਉਂਡ ਜਾਂ 35 ਪਾਉਂਡ ਦਾ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦਾ ਪਲਾਨ ਲਵੋ ਤੇ but you'll have to get in touch with either Apple or any of the operators like Vodafone, O2, 3, Orange किस तो भी ले सकते हो
Thank you very much.
इसमें महीने ना क्या चार्ज ले लेटर है ना
नहीं वो डिपेंड करता है but thank you very much for your call. We'll carry on explaining your question, so thank you very much. अगर आप वो फ़ोन ख़रीदना चाहते हैं और जिस तरह रमन भाई बता रहे थे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे ले सकते हैं I think with that one शायद 30 पाउंड से शुरू होता है 30 या 35 पाउंड महीने का देना पड़ता है उसमें से आपको फ्री कॉल्स वगैरह सब कुछ मिलेगा फ़ोन भी काफ़ी सस्ता मिल जाएगा I think it's the 4 you can get it free now
more or less I think
फ़ोन आपको वो फ्री दे देंगे पर आपको महीने के 30 पाउंड या 35 पाउंड देने पड़ेंगे उसमें से आपको फ्री कॉल्स वगैरह मिल सकती हैं अगर आप फ़ोन सिर्फ खरीदना चाहते हैं आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में नहीं लेना चाहते it will be roughly
I think about 499 499
अभी तक भी about 400-500 का जा रहा है वो डिपेंड्स वेयर यू बाय फ्रॉम बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया फॉर योर कॉल ये तो वैसे उनका ज़ाती फ़ोन है ये वो बेच नहीं रहे शायद कोई काफ़ी अच्छा ऑफर आए तो शायद but as far as we know we're not selling the phone.
Correct, absolutely. So going back to satellite navigation, so we're going to basically do a review of an app today that we've received obviously, and that is called the Copilot Live. And if I start briefly with this on the yes
version 8 okay.
Yeah. So if I start with the app, this is how the app looks like if you download it from the iPhone, the iStore, App Store, sorry. And we've got a couple of screenshots coming up on the screen, but obviously what we'll try and do is show you the app as well live.